Hello? Hi, Avery. Could you let me know how the audio is? I hope I don't sound like I'm speaking into a can again. I think my past two VODs have been me with the very crunchy mic, and no one told me, and I'm angry. I tested the audio earlier, but I can't trust myself anymore. Anyway, let's get back to it. Adrian did it. That's what it looks like. Dude, no way. That woman couldn't do anything like that. In court today, there will be a mountain of evidence that'll implicate you. A mountain of evidence? I'm certain there's someone out there trying very hard to pin this whole thing on you. Please, Mr. Lawyer. Dude, like I said yesterday, I'm refreshing like a spring breeze, alright? I can't let any sort of scandal ruin that. I understand. Well, it's almost time. Mia, we must get a complete acquittal today. I know, but I can't focus on Maya's situation right now. Or Pearl's either. No matter what, I have to focus on winning this case by the end of the day. Indeed. Well, let's get going. It's him! This is right! Good morning. This is it, Mr. Attorney. The day of the trial. Maya, she's unharmed, right? Well, when I checked on her earlier this morning, she seemed a bit, how shall we say, tired. Don't worry. People don't die that easily. Besides, what you really should be concentrating on is winning today's trial. For my sake, as well as yours, you must win today's trial. Which is why I sent you a little present this morning. Present? What in the world would you want to give me? You'll figure it out once the trial starts. And even if you don't like my gift, I expect you to graciously accept it and win the day's contest, if you please. Wait! The kidnapper sent me a present? Mr. Lawyer Dude? Who was that? No one. It has nothing to do with you, so forget you heard anything. Dude, did your nose just get longer? I like Matt. I think he's silly. Court is now in session for the trial of Matt on guard. Are the prosecution and defense ready? The defense is ready, Your Honor. I say, Mr. Wright, what happened to Miss Von Karma? I don't know, Your Honor. Why are you getting mad at me? Your Honor, please be quiet, Maeve. Court is in session. You must tell me something. Please keep it brief. Now then, what is it? Prosecutor Von Karma has... This morning, Miss Von Karma was shot by an unknown gunman. What? Shot? Somehow, I think this is the present that man was talking about. His present? Miss Von Karma is one of the top prosecutors in the country at the moment. If she were to disappear, it would be to your advantage. This is totally insane! Miss Von Karma, is she alright? I don't have that answer. She's alive and in stable condition. That's good. Phew. You're... I thought he'd show up. Your Honor, due to the circumstances, Miss Franziska Von Karma cannot appear in court today. I, Miles Edgeworth, will be taking her place. The prosecution is ready, naturally. Then why are you sitting on the witness stand? Miss Von Karma was shot in her right shoulder and is currently undergoing surgery. Luckily, I have looked this case over and am familiar with the details. Right shoulder. Is that the one Manfred was shot in, or was he left? Either way, I love the parallel. The prosecution seeks to prove the guilt of Mr. Mad on Guard. The court acknowledges the prosecution. Right. I finally found the answer I was struggling for on my long journey this past year. By the time this case comes to an end, you too will know the answer. Now then, the prosecution would like to call its first witness. Please bring Detective Gumshoe to the witness stand. Witness, your name and occupation. My name is Dick Gumshoe, sir. I'm a detective down at the precinct. For now. For now? After this trial's over, I'm supposed to turn in my badge, sir. Detective Gumshoe? The prosecution has no need for a depressed witness. Lift your head up and face forward like a proud officer, Detective Dick Gumshoe. Yes, sir! Now, let's have your testimony. If we want to explore the various facets of this case, we must start with that. Get ready, Phoenix. This is going to be one very rough fight. Yeah, it would have to be with Edgeworth as my opponent. The answer he was struggling for. Interesting. Show me this answer you finally found, Edgeworth. Let's go. Bare facts of the case. This murder happened after the Hero of Heroes Award ceremony, sir. The victim, Juan Corrida, was found dead in his hotel room. After looking into the cause of death, we believe he was definitely murdered, sir. At first, we thought there was something suspicious about the empty guitar case. However, we later found out that the guitar case had nothing to do with the murder. Then why are you mentioning it, huh? After the awards ceremony ended, the victim was alone in his room. Yes, sir. Both the victim and the defendant went alone to their rooms, sir. I see. Mr. Wright, you may begin your cross-examination. Alrighty. Press. Would you please give us a brief timeline of what happened after the ceremony? Okay, pal. The ceremony started at 6 p.m. It ended around 8 p.m. And then there was a short break. The special post-ceremony show was supposed to start in the lobby 30 minutes later. And that's when the victim's body was found, correct? Just to say, the murder occurred during that 30-minute break period. Please continue with your testimony, Detective. The person who discovered the victim's body was Adrian Andrews, correct? Yeah. Who is this Adrian Andrews you are talking about? She's the defendant, Mad on Guard's manager. She's a really pretty lady, sir. Ah, so she's a pretty lady. I wonder if she will grace us with her presence. When the post-ceremony show was about to start, she went to get Mr. On Guard. After visiting his room, she went to the victim's room to get him for the show, sir. I see. And that's when she found the victim's body. The cause of death. Wasn't that because Mr. Corrida was stabbed in the chest? Only a careless amateur would believe something so brainless as that, pal. See? Not butter knife. Take a good hard look at the crime photo. Now a real pro's attention would be drawn here to this bandana. Banana? His bandana, sir. That's the thing wrapped tightly around his neck, sir. Ah, yes, I see. His banana-scented bandana. Then what about the knife? Seems to have been stuck in the victim's chest on purpose after his death. We have a crafty murderer on our hands here. Aha! And why did you think that? Because it was empty, pal. The Jammin' Ninja doesn't go anywhere without his bright red guitar. And we couldn't find it anywhere at the scene of the crime. Oh, then how about this theory? A fan really wanted the guitar and did the crime to get it. How is that? We thought of that too, but... The only fingerprints on the guitar case were the victims. Only the victims, huh? I see. So much for my theory, then. Ever heard of gloves? What convinced you it had nothing to do with the case? The guitar wasn't at the Gatewater Hotel that night. Well then, where was it? The bright red guitar was eventually found at the TV studio. The victim, Juan Corrida, had apparently only taken the case with him, sir. So you mean he forgot to put the guitar inside the case? Yes, sir. Even when he was on stage for the ceremony, he didn't have his guitar. So that guitar case was empty even before he got to the hotel. Yeah, that's right. So it's really had nothing to do with the case after all. I believe that is enough. First, the victim was choked to death with his bandana. Then, after the victim was dead, the killer deliberately stabbed him with a knife. Which brings me to my next point. Why, then, did the police arrest Matt on guard? Because there was reason enough to suspect him. Here it comes. Looks like Edgeworth's back in full swing. Very well. Detective Gumshoe, please testify about this matter. Yes, sir. Why arrest on guard? Probably because his fingerprints are on the butter knife. Matt on guard and Juan Corrida were huge rivals with each other. They each thought the other guy was in his way. That's motive enough in my book. As for evidence, there's the Jammin' Ninja's button. He was ripped off the ninja costume and was found in Mr. On Guard's hakama. Hi, Kimono. How are you? The defendant's fingerprints were also all over the knife. Why is the knife yellow? The defendant bought the knife for the crime, which makes this a premeditated murder. What? What? So the defendant's fingerprints were found on the knife used in the stabbing. It was sort of sticky on the handle, so the fingerprints came out pretty clearly, sir. The Gatewater is engraved on the grip. Gumshoe! Tired from editing? Ooh. Well, you know, editing is editing, right? Some good work. Hopefully it was productive. And I'm good. I'm also kind of tired. But that's because I couldn't fall asleep last night for a while. Which is why today we'll have a shorter stream. That and I have some things to do later. But yeah, otherwise I am good. I am dumbfounded by Gumshoe and his logic. But, you know, it's fine. And there's this button. That was found in the defendant's clothes, wasn't it? And this button is also covered in blood. Yes, we know that the blood on it is the victim's blood, sir. What? Lovely. All of this points very clearly to the defendant, doesn't it? Yes, it most certainly does, Your Honor. Ready to give in yet, right? I'll find a hole in your argument somehow. Phoenix, it's literally right here. Gatewater? Oh my gosh. You can press as hard as you'd like. Just hurry up with your usual pointless questions. I don't even need to press. Your detective is silly.
Objection!
Wait a second. What? So the basis of your argument that this was a premeditated murder is simply that my client bought a knife beforehand? That's right, pal. The defendant did not buy this knife. Huh? Take a good look at the handle of this knife, and you'll see what I'm talking about. Huh? It has a Gatewater seal set into the handle. Gatewater? I think I've heard that name somewhere before. That's the name of the hotel. The Gatewater Hotel. Uh-oh. The murder knife was actually property of the hotel, which means this murder was not premeditated. Yes, that is very true. This is a very big... What is it, Mr. Edgeworth? I'm sorry, but the defense is simply too careless. He didn't buy the knife. Oh my gosh. I know, it definitely couldn't have been him now. Who cares about the fingerprints? He didn't buy the knife. What? I think whether the crime was premeditated or not has already been determined. How so? I admit this knife is hotel property. There is no one currently on the police force that is dumb enough not to realize this. But I didn't... Oh. The question is, where did this knife come from?
Why, that's obvious. It came from the victim, Mr. Corita's room.
Sorry, but that is incorrect. The victim ate a last meal before he was murdered. With that being the case, I would like to draw the court's attention to what is on top of the table.
There's a knife and fork on the table. Then, where in the world did this knife come from?
If it pleases the court, I would like for us to recall the room of the defendant, Mr. Matt on guard.
How is the court supposed to recall the room if you never showed it to them, Edgeworth?
Especially what was on top of his table.
Oh my gosh, no knife.
There is something missing. Perhaps it is a single knife. We investigated the leftover dishes for fingerprints, and while we were investigating, we came to the conclusion that Mr. Matt on guard's knife was missing. Mr. on guard had gone to the victim's room with the knife he had used during dinner. Why would he carry a knife on a visit? To kill, of course.
But Edgeworth... He was strangled with the scarf. He did not go to murder with a butter knife.
And with that, I believe the prosecution has proven this was a premeditated murder.
Amazing, Mr. Edgeworth. Absolutely brilliant. A brilliantly clear deduction.
It seems like Edgeworth had this plan from the very beginning.
This must be one of those traps I just walked headlong into it. A murder weapon with fingerprints and a button from the victim's costume. There's quite a sizable amount of evidence here.
I can safely say that any further deliberation is a waste of Your Honor's time. Although, I wouldn't mind if the defense were to present evidence not yet shown to the court.
Evidence not yet shown? He means evidence that the court hasn't seen yet. In other words, new evidence. What does the defense have to say about this, Mr. Wright? There's water on top of the lid. I don't know. I don't know. Edgeworth. Well, Phoenix,
The judge is favoring the prosecution right now.
if we answer with something wrong here, that gavel of his will be ringing out to the sound of our feet. Mr. Wright, do you have something important and necessary to present to this court?
Pain.
I know. I'm scared. However, Edgeworth is giving me this chance, and I'm gonna take it.
There's one. One piece of evidence that catches my attention. Something that this court has yet to see.
Mr. Wright, I will say this one more time. I do not feel this trial needs to continue at all. However, I am giving you one chance, and only one.
What the judge is saying, Wright, is don't try pulling one of your usual bluffs here.
If I mess this up, it's curtains for all of us. One piece of evidence! The one piece is real! Okay, this is kind of the only thing.
Take that!
This is a wine glass, is it not? Please look at the photo of the crime scene one more time. The scene is a mess because of the victim's struggle against his assailant. The vase was broken. His makeup is all over the floor. These were all things that were at one point sitting on top of the dresser. Well, yes, I see your point. It's real, let's go. However, this glass that is sitting on top of the dresser is mysteriously untouched. The only thing that had not fallen over, along with everything else, is this wine glass. Hold it. Welcome back, Avery. The only thing that had not fallen over, along with everything else, is this wine glass. This piece of evidence is more than strange enough to warrant further consideration. Well, what do you all have to say? Ah, well, yes, it is a little peculiar. Yes, isn't it? I thought it was. You could stop looking at me with those puppy dog eyes of yours now. Mr. Edgeworth,
What is it, Your Honor?
Your opinion.
You don't need my opinion. Because there is no special meaning to that glass.
What?
It's safe to say that the glass was set there after the crime took place. By the person who discovered the body, Adrian Andrews, for example. She could have easily been so shocked that she set the glass down without thinking.
That does sound very plausible, Mr. Wright. Could Miss Andrews really have set that glass down without thinking? What if I said no? If I appear weak here, the trial is over. I can look for my proof later. For now, I should trust my instinct and point with certainty. You just might fall for it, if you're thought-provoking enough. The defense would like to challenge the prosecution's theory. We would like to see something that proves it was Miss Andrews who set the cup on the table. You've turned the situation on its head yet again, as usual. Mr. Edgeworth, do you have any proof to back up your claim? There's no way he has any. He's just bluffing.
Unlike Mr. Wright, I'd never say anything unless I have the evidence to support it.
What?
You're not thinking hard enough today, Wright. Did you think that this wine glass escaped my notice?
Then,
of course, it's been thoroughly inspected for fingerprints.
Moral of the story, lie in court. This is true. That's what Phoenix does all the time. And it works. He wins. Fingerprints.
There were only one set of fingerprints left on the wine glass.
Only one? Well, whose were they?
They were not the victims nor the defendants. Rather, they were of one Adrian Andrews.
What? Oh boy.
That is why I said the person who had discovered the body had left it there. Are we done here, Mr. Wright?
I can't believe I fell into another trap.
Miss Andrews was probably holding the glass when she went to see Mr. Carrillo. But upon seeing his dead body, she was stunned and set the glass down on the dresser.
What you just said makes a lot of sense.
Now do you see, Wright? You can't change any part of my scenario, as it explains everything all too well. I've thought long and hard about this past year about what it means to be a prosecutor. And from here on out, I will show you the answer I have come to discover.
Wait a second. Mr. Edgeworth, I think the prosecution has provided enough evidence for me to enter my verdict.
No? Unfortunately, I cannot allow you to pass judgment yet. The prosecution has yet another witness we would like the court to hear from.
Another witness?
Yes. Bailiff, please bring in the next witness.
What in the world is Mr. Edgeworth thinking?
Not Wendy. Now then, witness, please state your name and occupation. Witness, your name and occupation, please.
G-O-T-C-H-A. Wonder what happened to that calm composure he had earlier. Oh, Edgy boy, it's been, what, a year since we last met, hasn't it? You should be more happy to see me.
I saw the report with the testimony. Who knew that under the helmet, it was the Wicked Witch of the witness stand?
This time I know what I'm supposed to do. So today I'm going to tell you anything and everything. Even things that don't have to do with that terrible crime. Miss Witness, that terrible crime is all this court needs to know. Oof! Shush! I'm talking to my dear Edgy Wedgie right now. Don't interrupt us, Gramps. Yes, madam.
No, please, by all means, interrupt her, please. Anyway, witness, your testimony, please.
It's true what they say, that youth are hot-headed nowadays. Not that I mind at all, Edgy. Now then, what should I start with?
The witness was on security detail at the hotel on the night of the murder. Is this correct, Miss Oldbag?
It was a great job being able to see my dearie Juan. It was almost too much for my little heart to handle. You mean, you were a fan of the victim? Look, everyone is crazy over that on guard, saying he's cute in a fresh way or something. But not me. I wouldn't say anything so silly. After all, I have no interest in a little child like him. I'm only interested in a real man, Juan Corrida. Are they not the same age? I'm fairly certain they're the same age. Yeah, they're okay. Alright then. Those two were the same age. Thank you, Phoenix! Anyway, as I was saying, I was pacing in front of his room that night.
Very well. Please tell the court what you witnessed the night of the murder.
Leave it to me, Edgy Poo!
What you witnessed.
Anyway, after the ceremony, I went to pace around in the hallway in front of his room. There was something I was interested in finding out, you know. Well, since I was on the job, I made sure to keep a good eye out the whole time. That's when someone showed up. It was a man coming out of poor Juan's room. He was on guard. On guard. He was trying to sneak his way out of Juan's room. What?
So Mr. On Guard came out from the victim's room.
See? It had to be him. He's the murderer.
I see. Well, Mr. Wright, you may begin your cross-examination. I don't think that's what happened. Who in the world was that?
I'm not allowed to say. This sort of information has to be carefully guarded from the masses, Sonny. The man that came out of Juan's room. He was.
Yes, he was.
I'm too scared. I can't say his name out loud.
Oh, what I wouldn't give to have Francisca's whip right about now.
Well, I guess I could tell you, since he was such a bad boy anyway.
You saw my client. Are you sure about that?
Yesy.
Really?
Annoying Brent. When I say I saw someone, I saw that person.
Why do I get a sense of deja vu? Maybe to avoid a repeat of last year, I should delve into this a bit further. What were they wearing? Please tell the court about the man's clothes in more detail.
What a troublesome man you are. Really, as if something like that matters.
But it does.
Now, what was it? Oh, yes, it was that thing.
What thing?
That gaudy thing he's always wearing, that racing jacket.
Ah, he was wearing that at the detention center, too.
That thing's meant for nothing but seducing women out of their pantaloons. Men!
Right. So, Mr. Wright, was this testimony just now important or relevant in any way? It was very important. Yes! Of course it was important, Your Honor. But perhaps you'd like to point out what part of that testimony was important. Don't you see it, Edgeworth? Your Honor, I request what the witness said about the jacket be appended to her testimony. I don't quite see where you're going with this, but all right. Witness, please.
Well, I don't like to badmouth anyone without reason, but if I must.
He's wearing his flashy racing jacket, and it's just for show. Okay. What about this? Miss Oldbag.
What? Don't say my name for no reason.
Do you know what this is?
It's button number 2 on the Jammin' Ninja's costume.
Now I know she's an obsessed fan. She identified it in a single glance.
Give it here! Give it here! If you don't give it to me, I'll punish you with this!
Wow. She really is a diehard fan to want a button covered in blood. This button was discovered on Mr. On Guard's body during a full-body search.
See? This button proves beyond a shadow of a doubt was that rascal On Guard.
It was caught up in the pleats of his nickel samurai hakama pants.
See? That On Guard is the nickel samurai.
Witness. Now, it may just be me, and I do have an active imagination. But just now, didn't you say that the defendant, Mad On Guard, was wearing his usual racing jacket?
I'm so sorry. Sorry that you judge people based on what they wear. If I wore the trendiest dress, then maybe you'd think that, but instead I have to put up with wearing this ridiculous-looking outfit. You'd agree this outfit is hideous, right? I've got a tape recorder stuck in my chest. Let me tell you, it's heavy. So heavy, I wish we could have switched to CDs years ago, but I'm keeping that dream alive for all the kids out there. I work with a smile on my face, don't you understand? To take a look in the mirror, your clothes are about as interesting as a documentary on Carmen. You should take a tipper 10 from Edgy Poo.
I cannot breathe.
Now hold your tongue still there for 1 second. So what you saw in actuality was not Mr. On Guard the man, but Mr. On Guard the Nickel Samurai. But when you think about it, they're really one and the same anyway.
Wait, so what you're saying, lady, is that you saw the Nickel Samurai wearing a racing jacket?
What?
Miss Oldbag, this is a very important point we're talking about.
Edgy Poo, do you think so too?
Well, it might be something worth considering.
Just say it's important and agree with me for a change. Witness, think carefully and try to remember as much as you can before you testify. All right, if you insist. I should be the one sighing, not you. Who I saw. Let's go. On guard. Yes, now I remember. The Nickel Samurai. That's right. It was the Nickel Samurai that I saw. Yes, it would have been convenient for him to wear his costume during the murder. He had to go to that post-ceremony stage show right after the crime, you know. So he must have worn that Nickel Samurai costume when he was stabbing poor Juan.
Then would blood not get on the... Okay.
I knew it.
I knew you'd say he was inside that costume.
What? Did you think there could have been someone else inside the costume? Don't be a bad little boy thinking such rude things.
But the possibility does exist.
Oh, young'uns today, I told you there's no way it was anyone else.
How do you know that?
Because I said so, and what I say is the truth.
At least she's just as delightful a witness as she was a year ago.
Mr. Wright, you may cross-examine the witness.
Size. My goodness. Okay. Be a little more careful with your testimony, please. Not too long ago, you said he was wearing his racing jacket, and now he's not.
Not too long ago. Then let me ask you this. When you were itty-bitty, what was your grand dream?
Huh?
What did you want to be when you grew up, whippersnapper?
My dream, huh? Well, I wanted to be Judge Wagner, hero of the public's court. So what?
See? And look where you are now. You're not Judge Wagner, are you? Are you?
Well...
What I said earlier. Who puts any weight into things like that? And the now is everything. I can't be held responsible for the past.
Since when did court become theatrics over testimonies?
All that matters, that man was inside the costume. Isn't that enough?
I just got an achievement. It says Judge Wagner. And why would that be?
Wait, no one could see his face, of course.
But there's still no advantage for him that I can see. In fact, you would think the costume would make him stand out all the more.
You're such an annoying child, you know that? You disagree with everything I say.
Isn't that what you're always doing to me?
I got it. Maybe it was more troublesome for him to change in and out of his costume.
Was there anyone else scheduled to appear at the post-ceremony show?
Well, all the contestants were supposed to go on stage in a friendly gesture thing.
And that included the Jammin' Ninja.
Of course it included him. That's why when On Guard came out of dear Juan's room, I didn't give it a second thought.
I see.
Well, anyway.
So let me ask you one last time. The person you saw, it really was the Nickel Samurai.
As showy as ever. Haven't I been saying that from the very beginning?
Can I throw in the towel yet? You don't need to think too hard on this one.
Huh? There's a contradiction in your testimony, and it's sitting in plain sight. The question is, what that contradiction means for us. Well, I have to figure out what you're talking about first, but okay. Okay. The Nickel Samurai... Okay. He's wearing his ninja costume. It would have been convenient for him to wear his costume during the murder. He had to go to the post-ceremony stage show right after the crime. He didn't know about it, though. So he must have worn the Nickel Samurai costume when he was stabbing point one. There's no blood stain on the costume, though. Present... Must have worn the Nickel Samurai costume when he was stabbing one. Oh wait, does it have gloves? It does have gloves. Okay. So probably the knife then. Fingerprints? Okay. Please take a look at this.
Yeah, so it's a knife. Big deal. If you're trying to scare me with that, I'll have you know it won't work.
No, that's not my intention at all.
The knife that was used in the murder, correct?
Your Honor, do you know why this piece of evidence is important to the case?
You don't even have to ask. It's because the defendant's fingerprints are on it.
Is that what you're driving at? That's exactly what I'm driving at.
What are we driving at? And whose car are we driving?
Mr. On Guard was really in the Nickel Samurai costume at the time of the murder. Then it's impossible for his fingerprints to have been left on the knife. Actually, he would have wiped all previous fingerprints on the knife right off.
That's right. Oh, that's right. The Nickel Samurai wears gloves, doesn't he?
He probably took his gloves off before he began the stabbing. Why would he do that, Edgeworth? What? And why would he do something like that? To leave his prints on the murder weapon? There's no way he would do something like that. However, there is one possibility. Then let's hear your possibility. It's very simple. The defendant went to the victim's room while in costume as the Nickel Samurai. At the time, the defendant held no intent to murder. He was probably just going to relax and talk with the victim about the stage show. Which is why he took his gloves off. Then why was he carrying a knife there, huh?
But the murder still didn't take place.
It's well known that there was bad blood between the defendant and the victim.
Yes, I have heard that before. Well, Mr. Wright, what do you have to say about Mr. Edgeworth's theory?
So let me get this straight. Edgeworth's theory goes like this. When the defendant went to the victim's room, he had no intention of killing him. Now, up to this point, are there any problems with his theory? Yes? Why would he carry the knife to the room? There's a contradiction. This theory contradicts something in an earlier testimony. What are you babbling about? Now, for argument's sake, let's suppose Mr. On Guard was the killer. If that's the case, I think it's impossible for the killer to have gone to the victim's room without intent. This knife, this was used by Mr. On Guard at dinner.
Yes, we did establish that.
Which means that if my client was in fact the killer, then he brought this knife with him when he went to visit Mr. Kurita. I suppose. However, you just said it yourself. At that time, the defendant held no intent to murder. If that were true, then why would he bring a knife? He wouldn't, would he? Which means, Mr. Edgeworth, your theory was flawed from supposition 1. Haha! And one more thing. If the murderer was wearing the costume at the time of the murder, then there should be glove marks left on the knife. And bloodstains on the costume, no? Which means the defendant's fingerprints shouldn't be all over it like bees on a hive. And that brings me to my final point. This knife was planted by the real killer to hide their identity and mislead us. Order, order, I say. Order in the court. Was this knife really planted by the killer? Why would the murderer do such a thing? To frame Matt on guard. It's to frame my client, Mr. On Guard, of course. To frame? Aren't you forcing the interpretation just a little too hard on this one? But we just established the witness saw the Nickel Samurai in costume. And if that were true, then there shouldn't be a single fingerprint on this knife. Witness!
Looks like I've made your life a tiny bit more difficult, huh, Edgy Poo?
Witness, did you or did you not really see the Nickel Samurai?
Well, I guess at first I might have forgotten, but...
Are you saying you mixed up Mr. On Guard with the Nickel Samurai? His character on TV?
But I mean, I can't really do anything about that now. Look, I was waiting around in front of their doors because, well, I wasn't waiting around for the Nickel Samurai, that's for sure.
She wasn't waiting for the Nickel Samurai. All right, then. Who were you waiting around for, then?
That's top secret to anyone outside of security.
I have a feeling that you were waiting for Mr. Juan Corrida. Am I correct, witness?
The way you think, you are a sad amateur with terrible case of nearsightedness.
Amateur? Me? What am I an amateur of? So Oldbag was waiting around in front of the victim's room. But it doesn't sound like she was waiting to catch a glimpse of Mr. Corrida. Uh-oh. Maybe. Phoenix! Maybe the old bag was waiting around for that person. If that's who I think Mia's hinting at, it's certainly possible. Miss Oldbag, you were waiting for this person to come out of the victim's room, weren't you? Who is this person? This is Adrian Andrews, Mr. On Guard's manager.
Why would the defendant's manager be in the victim's room?
It seems that this is the latest rumor in circulation, Prawn. Oh, this is... I see. The judge seems to be really into the article, if it can be called such a thing. And this manager with the initials AA, are you saying it's... Adrian Andrews? Without a doubt, the witness thought so as well.
Looks like you found me out. Well, that's fine. I can throw away this whole sworn to confidentiality stuff then.
Witness? What in the world are you... Watch out, Phoenix. I've got a bad feeling about this. A very bad feeling.
I got some information. Some very secret information from a certain source. So that's why I was doing my own little investigation. In secret, of course.
But what for?
Oh, just for myself. Personal reasons and all that.
Well, Mr. Edgeworth, how will you proceed from here? I really don't want to do this. However, I simply cannot let this point slide. I see. Very well, then. Witness, please testify about this secret information.
Get ready. This is going to take the wind out of you, young'uns.
I'm sure we're all capable of handling this. Really, it's not like we're 10 years old. Secret information. Oh, so dramatic.
That guard is one evil, evil man. He thought he could ruin poor Juan by causing a huge scandal. So to do that, he sent his own manager to get in close with Juan. I cannot condone such dirty tricks, so I took action. Oh, and this is top secret, you got that? Nobody else but you and me can know yet, okay?
The defendant sent his manager. What a distasteful topic for this court.
What? Nobody's above gossip. And isn't there a saying, the truth is never pleasant?
Never heard that one before. Mr. Edgeworth, what about this Adrian Andrews person? We've looked into this matter, and found that the truth the article proposes is in fact baseless gossip. But should this be true, then this proves that the defendant did bear ill will toward the victim. So this means I have to smash this rumor once and for all. Now then, Mr. Wright, you may cross-examine the witness. Be careful. The old bag seems rather excited right now.
That's right! On guard is nothing but your average foul-blooded youth.
Well, as the old saying goes, you've gotta burn old bags with fire. Time to fire up the afterburners and hit the highway to the danger zone.
All right, Phoenix. Ooh, okay. Thought he could rest. He sent his own manager to do. So, why? So take action. And this is what action did you take? So, what do you mean by I took action?
I already told you. I was lying in wait close to the crime scene. Once that slimy woman came out of Juan's room, I was going to capture her and teach her a good lesson. Something you young'uns need.
You were going to teach her a good lesson.
I was going to make her eat the damaging beams of my ray gun. Like this.
No, stop.
Well, it was too bad that woman didn't come through the door that night. Wait. What? I'm a busy woman. Tea time with the kids is over.
Secret information that no one else knows yet. If that's true, then how do you know this secret information?
Well, that's because I'm a pro. Yes, that's it. It's a secret. Even if you drilled a hole into my brain, you'll never find out.
How in the world did that old bat get such a secret piece of information? Ooh, okay. I think I present evidence. So no one else is supposed to know this secret information, correct? If that's true, then why do you know it, Miss Oldbag?
Why are you looking at me like that? Stop that! Witness.
I hate to say it, but this is how you came to acquire your secret info, isn't it?
Take that! Hee-hee.
The investigative photographer, Lotta Hart. Oh yes, I remember that mischievous little girl. She reported that she had lost a certain note she had written to herself. She reported such a thing. On that piece of paper, she had written down some of her outrageous, impressions about the relationship between the victim and Miss Andrews. She wrote a fanfic.
What? Outrageous ideas, you say?
No, I said impressions.
Then everything written on this piece of paper is completely meaningless.
Ah, that's it. That's the note.
Oh, you see, this is something completely different. This is my top secret list of groceries to buy.
And you are the one who took Miss Hart's note.
I'm just a huge fan of Juan's, that's right. Well, that infamous puffy-haired whippersnapper. She's working with that evil On Guard. She said so herself. On Guard, I'm his sidekick. She was so happy, smiling like a silly duck. I was only checking what she had written. Boo, believe me, don't you? I was only trying to help out like the angel I am. It's only one little piece of paper. I've never taken anything else before.
Really should come with a supply of cheese to match your vintage wine. Dang, Edgeworth. Okay. Well, it was only a piece of paper. I suppose we could overlook this just this once. She looks like she's really sorry. Should I forgive her? Ooh. What if I piled on more pressure? If I let up on her now, she'll get away. I have to find some way to inflict a deafening blow to the prosecution. Witness, you said that the only thing you stole was that note. Is this correct?
Stole? Why don't you listen more carefully, you annoying brat? I made this piece of paper from the terrible lonely trash can, that's all.
You're lying, and I can prove it.
You putting my credibility under scrutiny again?
Miss Oldbag, I don't believe that the note is the only thing you stole that night. Miss Oldbag, that note was with a camera inside its case, wasn't it? A camera? Yesterday, Lotta Hart was raising a huge stink over her camera. She kept saying something like, my sweetie $1,600 camera disappeared on me. What?
Witness! What is it, Gramps?
If you have the note, then it's only logical that you have the camera too.
Grr. Looks like you found me out again, Sonny. Is this the camera you're looking for?
That's...
What? Even though I look like this, I'm still a person, you know. I still eat meals like you. I fall in love and borrow things from people.
I think your definition of borrow is a little off.
I saw that woman's business card, and that's what I noticed it said. Slime bag celebrity photographer extraordinaire. Well, when I saw that, I imagined it was what sort of picture she had taken. Professional security, though. It's my business to know these things.
Oldbag's sus. She's very sus.
Bailiff, check this camera's photos. Hurry. We must examine them at once.
Judge is also curious. Look at these old people.
Well, Mr. Edgeworth, what do we have?
There's only one photo that seems to be relevant to this case.
Please present it to the court.
Look at how baggy them pants are. Shorty looking.
This is the Nickel Samurai. See, I told you. That's the guy I saw. This proves that the witness was not lying earlier about this matter. What does all this mean, Mr. Edgeworth?
This photo by itself does not prove that the person in it is the defendant. However, in his own confession, Mr. On-Guard clearly stated that at the time of the murder, he was still in his Nickel Samurai costume.
If that is the case, then this Nickel Samurai is
the defendant.
No, did you see those short legs?
How did it come to this? I think this brings us to the end. We have examined every piece of evidence thoroughly. Final comments, Mr. Wright. The court will consider them before we close. Do you agree that this photo is decisive evidence against your client?
If this photo really is decisive, then we're done for. If I raise an objection here and blow it, then I would put Maya's life in jeopardy. I can't make a mistake here. There's only one road out of this mess. This photo that Lana took. There's something strange. Them short leggies. There's something strange with this photo.
I knew this was coming, right?
Your thoughts, Mr. Edgeworth?
I think we can all agree there's nothing strange with this photo. There's no way for the defense to debunk this photo, even with a bunker buster.
Debunk with a bunker buster? Is that what you're planning to do, Mr. Wright?
Yes. Anyway, please look at the photo one more time. If you really believe you can honestly find something wrong with this photo, then you should only need one chance, correct?
Well...
This is fine. I have to find something wrong with this photo. I can't let this chance go by. Where in the heck did she take this photo from anyway? It's all out of focus. Why can't she take a good shot, especially when it counts?
Now then, let's hear your objection. What about this photo was strange?
Short legs! Look at how folded these pants are.
Take that!
I would like to direct the court's attention to this one area right here.
What are you pointing to? His ankles?
If you could see this person's ankles, that would be one thing. However, you can't.
And? What does that mean?
The costume person in this photo could not have been Mr. On Guard.
What is the meaning of this?
Objection!
Wonder if you would care to elaborate, with actual facts, that is.
I wonder if Edgeworth agreed to do this because he's a fan of the Steel Samurai and he thinks the Nickel Samurai is just a knockoff, so he's salty. Let's take a look at the Nickel Samurai's poster. Please pay particular attention to the area around the bottom of the hakama.
His socks. You can see his socks.
Exactly. However, in this photo, the Nickel Samurai is clearly holding his hakama up just to walk. There's only one explanation for this. The person inside this costume is clearly much shorter than the defendant. Alright, I think I've turned things around for myself this time. That's curious. Huh? What is? Edgeworth is unusually calm today. That's true. He's just letting the trial run itself, as if he's only along for the ride. Along for the ride? What do you mean by that? I can only guess that perhaps he doesn't feel under attack at all. He doesn't feel under attack? Then I haven't damaged his case at all? Mr. Edgeworth, where does this leave us? If the
person in the photo is not mad on guard, then everything the prosecution has tried to prove has become meaningless.
I figured it would come to this.
What?
Right. I have something I want to ask you. I think you have proven that this person inside the costume is not mad on guard. In that case, who is this a photo of?
Who's the person wearing the nickel samurai costume? Don't stress out over this, Phoenix. It's very simple. What you should be focused on is Edward's attitude, don't you think? Yeah. Why is he so calm?
Mr. Wright, let us hear your thoughts. Who is the person in the photograph?
Adrian Andrews!
Adrian Andrews.
If you want to know who that nickel samurai is, it's none other than this woman.
And why would you say it must be Miss Andrews? What in the world points you to her?
For starters, she's short.
Phoenix.
And she can freely move in and out of Mr. On-Guard's room. Finally, she had dinner with Mr. On-Guard that night.
And how does that all add up?
It means that it makes it very easy for her to get a certain item. A certain knife with Mr. On-Guard's fingerprints all over it.
A knife that was used as a murder weapon.
Why don't you just say what it is you want, Miss Wright?
I have to do this now. This is my last chance to turn things around. The defense moves to indict Miss Adrian Andrews in the murder of Juan Corrida. Indict? I don't know how to say this word. It was Miss Andrews who tried to frame the defendant for the crime.
Order, order, order. Looks like this trial is in a most unexpected development. Mr. Edgeworth.
Yes, Your Honor.
This court is issuing a subpoena for Miss Adrian Andrews. A verdict cannot be passed without first hearing her testimony.
All right, this is it. This is kind of bad for us. Huh? What do you mean? If Adrian Andrews is summoned to court as a witness, it means that the trial will go on for another day. One more day? If I don't get a verdict today, then Maya...
Now then, we shall set Miss Andrews' testimony for tomorrow.
What am I supposed to do? The judge is about to adjourn the court. Oh?
Now then.
Please, Your Honor, continue the trial. You must pass a verdict today.
I can't do that. We cannot hear Miss Andrews' testimony if she's not.
I abhor wasting such valuable time.
Edgeworth.
Your Honor, I request that you could please continue with today's trial.
But we cannot continue due to this unexpected development.
Unexpected development. I think you underestimate me, Your Honor.
And what do you mean by that?
That Mr. Phoenix Wright would slave his way to subpoenaing Miss Adrian Andrews is all happening according to plan. Even if Wright was a bit slow to catch on.
What?
What is the meaning of your statement, Mr. Edgeworth?
Miss Adrian Andrews is currently waiting in the prosecution's lobby. She is the next witness.
Everything was planned out in advance by that man? Somehow I knew there was no way Edgeworth would overlook Miss Andrews. Looks like this battle is far from over.
Exactly.
Very well. We will call the next witness. However, before we proceed, we shall take a 10-minute recess. Please prepare your witness in that time, Mr. Edgeworth. The court will now take a 10-minute recess.
Okay, I know it's early, but I do have some stuff to do today, so I think we will be ending here. So, thank you guys so much for coming, and thank you for helping me fix my audio. I hope it's okay now. If not, I'll try to fix it for next time. But But yeah, thank you guys, and hopefully I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.